It is always good to see progress in motion, and with USAF we have not been disappointed in the past. Over the last year to 18 months, USAF has provided us with regular updates and, more importantly, progress reports. Yesterday was no exception. Yesterday, USAF, via Advocate Carlo Viljoen, filed their application to the High Court in Cape Town to be granted the right to self-determination for all its members, present and future. This is now the second such application to have been lodged in South Africa, the first being that of Eureka. Eureka's application has not been heard in court yet, but that is coming up soon. If granted, and there's no reason why they shouldn't be, these two applications will pave the way for other groups to apply for the same. I'm including two videos here. The first one is of Brian Dalton making the announcement yesterday, and the second is a short call I had with Rodney Bartman this morning before I started putting this video together. Many times I have comments on my channel where people make the claim that these groups, not only USAF, but all other civil defense groups, from Boereligion to Zuidlanders, and many more in between, are just there to cater for the rich or those that can afford to move to these small communities they have created, and are leaving the less fortunate ones behind. In the video where I speak to Rodney Bartman, he gives an extremely good analogy of why things are happening the way they are, and it makes perfect sense to me. There is no intention to leave any of our people behind, but some kind of structure needs to be put into place before they can help others in less fortunate circumstances. I will include a link in the description to the whole application document. I would highly recommend to you that you go and read the entire document and to understand it to the best of your abilities. Here are the two videos now. Enjoy. As usual, please remember to like and share my video on other social media platforms. It is the only way my message gets out there. If you have not subscribed yet, click on the subscribe button now. While you are doing that, click on the bell icon to be notified whenever I upload new content. If you would like to support my channel, in the description I have provided ways for both local as well as international subscribers to make a contribution. I've also provided a Bitcoin as well as a Litecoin wallet address for those who would like to make a crypto contribution. To all those who do support my channel and my work, I say a huge thank you. I appreciate it very much. Be safe out there. Until next time.
Good day, fellow Zuidlanders. Goeiedag, mede Zuidlanders. Today we have taken the first major step towards autonomy. And as said before, today we make history. We submitted our High Court application to the High Court Western Cape Division for the recognition of internal self-determination as a requirement under international law. There are three respondents in this case, and these are Mr. Cyril Ramaphosa, President of South Africa, the Western Cape Premier, and the Municipal Manager, Bergrivier Local Municipality. Today's submission defines the following in short. 1. That we as a people have a right to freedom of association. 2. That the submission defines who we are as a people, that we belong to a specific cultural, religious, and linguistic community. 3. That we have a right to freedom of conscience, religion, thought, beliefs, and opinions, and the right to freedom from all forms of violence, and not to be treated or punished in a cruel, inhumane, or degrading fashion. 4. That we have the right to self-determination as manifested in the South African Constitution. 5. That the right to self-determination may be exercised within the framework of existing sovereignty of South Africa. 6. That as a community sharing a common cultural and language heritage, we have the power to decide how we are governed and by whom. 7. That we have a right to choose our own political status, the right to determine our own form of economic, cultural, and social development, and the right to determine our own management free from external interference. 8. in essence, that we have a right under both South African law, the South African Constitution, and international law to self-determination. We have today asked for the court to recognize this right. I urge you to read the documents submitted and attached to this and familiarize yourself with what has been stated. I would also like to thank Advocate Carlo Viljoen, Rodney Bartman, and Catherine Mendel for their tireless efforts in getting to this point, along with all of you Zuidlanders. Without you, none of this would be possible. So I thank you all.
So you had some really good news yesterday.
Yeah, good stuff, eh?
Breaking new ground.
Yeah, look, best way to do it is take them head on, eh? And,
Awesome.
you know, then they can't say that we're hiding or doing anything behind their backs or anything like that. And, you know, we can't see them being able to do anything about it because it's obviously via international and our constitutional law. So it's not, you know, anything untoward. We just proclaiming that we want self-determination and we're taking them to court to get it.
Yeah, I read through the whole document last night after you sent it to me, and although it's very very legal stuff, you know, they're just quoting the rules and the regulations and the laws that exist already, and that's or
Exactly.
you guys are anyway. So
Exactly, yeah.
Carlo seems to have done a brilliant job there, but
Yep.
apparently this is the second one now. Eureka was the first. That
Yeah, we did a similar one. We obviously have expanded a lot on that and learned the lessons from that. And Carlo obviously put that in not too long ago. So, yeah, this one we had our guys as well as Carlo deal with. So we went through all the little things that we thought we needed to tweak. So we have, yeah.
So neither of them have been heard in court yet. It's basically just two applications that have been done now.
Yeah, they've got they responded to the RICA one, and they've got until the 21st now of October to respond to us.
Okay.
Or if they don't, then obviously we in court on the 11th of December to. I wouldn't know all the legal jargon, but to do what we need to do there, yeah.
Yeah, no, that is absolutely
fantastic. Yeah, in the meantime, it obviously gives us the total ability to do what we need to do. You know,
Yes.
what we're doing, and to get down to Dalbarton, the municipality's been notified, Cape Town's been notified, and the presidency's been notified of what we're doing. So, yeah, it now gives us a lot of rights to do what we're doing.
Absolutely. So now, assuming that everything goes well in court and the order is granted, or the declaration or whatever is granted, and we now have self-determination, what does that mean on the ground for the people of Dalbarton, or for Zuidland for that matter?
Okay, well, you know, firstly, it gives us that right then to have self-determination, do our own economy, have our own culture, etc., etc., etc. As you'll see by the application, it's also not restricted just to one farm or one area. We will expand. We've already got a lot of other people wanting to come in on this application, which I'm sure it will happen, you know.
Okay.
Hence why we did Zuidland, and hence why we did USAF.
Yes.
You know, and for those people, I think you said you're going to put this video out there a little bit. Let me explain a little bit why USAF and why Zuidland and why Dalbarton. And USAF obviously is a United Southern African Federation. It's there to create confederated states, which means Zuidland is one of those in the first state. But we envisage, with all the issues and around multiculturalism and etc. in the country and in the world, that the best way for everybody to have peace and to have what they want is they should be able to create a state and where they want to live in, and where they feel free and where they feel comfortable, where they want to be.
Sure.
Their people. So that means, you know, for example, the Zulus are now looking at, I think it's called Shokoland, so they can create a state, and they can come under the USAF banner, and they could use a digital currency system, and they could pull themselves out economically, etc., etc. But they could create a state for what they wanted.
Okay, so they're also looking into it as well.
We're also busy into it, yes.
Okay.
We have a coloured group they call Two Oceans. Two Oceans Republic, and they're busy starting up, but it's a little bit slow at the moment. But sometimes I speak to a lot of people who say, but like, what about us poorer guys, or what about this, what about that? And I always relate it back to being on an aircraft, because obviously I fly around quite often nowadays. And every time they say that when the oxygen mask drops, you got to put it on yourself first before you help the people next to you.
Precisely.
And obviously the reason for that is if you don't help yourself first, you can't help anybody else, because you're all going to be dead.
That's right. Yeah.
And so it's the same thing with Zuidland. We've got to get there. We've got to establish it. We've got to make sure it works. Then we can help A, the less fortunate, and B, other cultures and other people who want to do a Zuidland for their type scenario. And that could be any scenario. It doesn't matter.
Yes.
It doesn't matter if it's a multicultural state. It doesn't matter if it's a Muslim state. It doesn't matter if it's whatever they want and where they feel comfortable is what they should be doing. And we will help them with that.
Just a group of like-minded people.
Sure, you could have 30 states in South Africa. You've got 50 states in America. You could have 30 different states with everybody, and then all of those states would work together in order to create an economy that would be self-sufficient and really strong.
Yeah, no, that is fantastic, man. I don't want to keep this. I don't want to make this video too long, because I'm going to include the video that Brian put out yesterday in it as well. So I just wanted to get your input here as well, because the only one we ever see is Brian. He does all the announcements. So we thought we'll get your face out there as well. But that is fantastic. Congratulations to all of you, everybody involved. This is fantastic. I'm looking forward to it.
It's a big step.
Sure.
It's an absolute big step. And you and I discussed a while ago the other groups and the specific group with ULA who keep trashing everybody else, and nobody else is doing it via legal means, and the individual who I'm referring to, he's one of those politicians who used to work for the NP a long time ago, the National Party, as a secretary for one of the prime ministers or whatever the case may be. And I don't appreciate people who lie all the time to our people. I don't appreciate people who lie about what we're doing and what everybody else is doing. It offends me to my core. And I think people have got to understand that they must start thinking for themselves and looking at things. And I mean, if you look at the numbers that they're saying for the vote self-determination, it's going to take them, as I said to you, in the last 20 days, the amount of people that signed up, it will take them 54 years to reach 2 million people. Now, in the meantime, what they're doing is they're creating the apathy in our people, thinking, okay, I've gone to click a button, I've voted now, I can put my feet up on the desk and I can wait. Well, the only thing you're going to wait for is you're going to wait for them to come and kill you. They're doing nothing else to save our people, and yet they trash everybody else. And so there's no other plan than this delay tactic of let's wait for however many years before we may get to a vote, and in which case then we still got to ask for a referendum and et cetera, et cetera. So they don't tell the whole story of how long it's actually going to take to save our people. And you and I know we don't have that time.
Yeah,
you and I know that this comes to that. Exactly. And the only thing that they're then waiting for is a civil war so that they can declare UDI. Well, so can we, and so can every other group.
Yeah.
So I think what people have got to realize is, we've only been doing this for 18 months. We're businessmen. We're here to make things happen. We're here to make a plan, and we will, and we have, and I think we've shown our colors. We had a post today where people said, well, everybody talks about this as being a scam and we're going to steal people's money and et cetera, et cetera. Yeah. And, we must be absolutely have rocks in our head if we're going to go to a high court application, and that's what we're trying to do in the background. So I think people are starting to realize after all this time, after 18 months, after a digital currency system, and after what we're doing, that nobody's lost their money. And there would have been people screaming and shouting by now if it was.
Yes.
And we know that the ULA spread that. The ULA and Cape Exit, those two groups love spreading rubbish on everybody else, and I'm sick of it. So, we're going to do this. and we will show by what we do, not by what we say, that we're absolutely determined to get our people freedom and have their own culture preserved.
Yeah, for me anyway, personally, it's not about who gets it right at the end of the day. It's as long as somebody gets it right, and
Absolutely.
and in the meantime, we need somewhere where people can go to be safe. It's pointless
Yep,
sitting.
absolutely. And the more of us out there that are doing it, the better. I mean, I saw on Scott's video the other day, he's saying, yeah, well, all groups should join together and, we need unity. Well, we don't actually, because that is not the right way to do it, because who are you going to unify behind? You're going to unify behind one plan. What happens if that one plan then fails?
Yes.
To have a slight diversity at the moment of different groups trying different things and then see who actually achieves is a good thing. It's not a bad thing.
Sure.
So yeah, I don't believe that unity is the key at this moment in time. There will come a time when unity will be needed, but it's not really needed at this time. What is needed at this time is that people understand how quickly this is going to happen, where we're going to become a Zimbabwe, and what they need to do in order to do that. And that is obviously preserve their funds that they have now.
Yes.
Which is obviously what we created our virtual currency for, because it gets backed and saved in gold, and obviously get a place where you can get yourself to safety when you need to. And we're actually going to go create a whole town. I mean, a whole town. That means businesses. And we're not just going to do a small Aranya where there's a little farming community. We're going to have industry. We're going to create jobs. We're going to have a kibbutz system. We're going to have a whole town. We're going to have a et cetera, et cetera. That's what we envisage. So, yeah, we've got all the guys on board ready to do this.
That is fantastic news. Well, Rodney, I wish you guys all the best. Seeing that I'm part of it for my sake too.
Yeah,
So,
and thanks for all you do for us, and all the videos and the stuff you've done has been absolutely appreciated, and your support, even with all the negativity from the other groups about us, is you the guys that keep us our heads up, knowing that there are people that can see through the bull dust. And get to the honesty.
That is why I chose to promote you guys before you even knew about me. So, yeah, I don't think people can even look to say, you're getting paid to promote you guys or anything like that, because I was promoting you before you even knew about me. So, yeah.
Absolutely.
Now I've got to look after myself as well, and for me, you guys are the most viable and how can I say, time-wise, it looks like nobody else is going to get anything right before you guys do, or have done anyway. So I like what you guys are doing. So I'm in.
I don't know if they've got the vision and what we've got planned on the table. And obviously there's a lot of things that we can't discuss because we don't want to give any of our opposition or the government or whatever a heads up. But, we're good people. We're clever people. We've got a fantastic team. We got 16 odd committees working on every aspect of what we do. So yeah, it's as I put out a post today, it's a bullet train now. It's not just a normal train, it's a bullet train, and there's nothing's going to stop us, and we're moving faster. We're absolutely moving fast.
These things happen exponentially. They start off slow, but once they start picking up speed, they start gathering size and momentum, and they just keep going. At some point.
The most amazing thing is that I say to people that within 3 days we had over 400 stands sold in Dalbarton. I mean, that is incredible. 3 days. And that's where 60% of those people put in full amount for their purchase into a trust account, when everybody's talking about it being skeptical. And that shows the need of our people, and also shows people who've trusted us, who've walked with us for a period of time. But it shows how quickly this is going to grow. And when people actually see this as 100% a reality, which is now starting to come through, and in the next few days when we've actually purchased the property and we can put out a lawyer's note saying that the property is paid for, then I don't think we're going to have enough space for all the people who are going to want to come in. And we're going to have to expand rapidly. But that was the whole intention in the first place. So it's fantastic.